We are all still stuck in quarantine. I mean, look at this hair. I'm like the sixth Beatle. And many bands are turning to live streaming to keep their fans engaged. Normally when you live stream, you have to pick a platform. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Periscope, Instagram Live. There are tons of different choices out there, and some are better than others depending on what you're streaming and where your audience lives. If you're playing games, you're probably on Twitch. If you're on your phone, you're probably Periscope or Instagram Live. YouTube and Facebook are good catch-alls for any other live content. But what if your audience is split across platforms? What if you've got an equally engaged Facebook and YouTube audience? Which one do you choose? What if you didn't have to choose? Enter multi-streaming, the ability to take one stream and replicate it across multiple platforms. Today, I'm going to show you how to create your band's very own multi-streaming server out of a cheap Raspberry Pi. Hails, minions and mortals, this is Fang from the most metal band on earth, the Lords of the Trident. So, why would you want to multi-stream? Well, a couple of reasons. First, and most important, whatever platform you pick is going to do its best to promote the content that comes from that platform. So, for example, if you stream on YouTube and you post a link on Facebook, the Facebook algorithm is going to automatically downgrade that post. It's going to show it to less people, because Facebook doesn't want you leaving their site. In order to organically reach the most people, you need to avoid jumping platforms. Second, a lot of performers are hoping to make some form of income from these live streams, and the best way to do that is with a digital tip jar. If someone is a regular Twitch user but maybe not on YouTube that much, they might be more comfortable tipping you in Twitch bits. Or if you only stream on YouTube but not Facebook, you might be missing the opportunity to let people like your Aunt Susie know that you've got a tip jar open. And just a note for smaller bands, even if you don't have enough followers on YouTube or Twitch to monetize your channel, you can still create a link for people to donate via PayPal. I'll have more on that later in the video. Finally, you're making it convenient for your audience to find you. You're giving them a choice of platforms, which might reduce the barrier to entry. Kind of goes back to the first point. You're looking for the most amount of eyeballs on this live stream that you can get. Now you might say, Fang, why go through all the trouble to make a physical server that lives in your basement when there are websites that let you do this for cheap or free? Well, that's true. One of the most popular multi-streaming services is restream.io, which lets you multi-stream to YouTube and Facebook for free. Streamlabs also has this capability built into the software. So why are we doing this? Because if you use a service like Restream or Streamlabs, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch will know that you're multi-streaming. They're not dumb. They're able to tell that content is coming from a multi-streamer service, and they will bury your reach. However, by using a physical box in your basement, there's really no way for them to tell that you're duplicating the stream out to multiple sources without manually checking. Before we get into how to put all this together, a fair warning. Unlike my Raspberry Pi car arcade build, which link is in the description, this one is a lot more technically challenging. I'm going to do my best to make this as beginner-friendly as possible, but just know that some computer knowledge is required to make this thing go. And I'll have all the instructions in the description below so you can simply copy and paste. All right, with all that out of the way, let's get started.
Step 1. Purchase a Raspberry Pi. I prefer the Cana kits from Amazon because they come with pretty much everything you need, including a case. Instructions on how to physically put this together are in the Carcade video, which I've linked in the description below. Step 2. Once the kit's together and powered up, follow the instructions to install the operating system Raspbian. This comes with the Cana kit, and it's not really that hard. Just keep hitting next or yes, and then once you're at the desktop, set your password and check for updates. Once that's all set, reboot.
Next, for step 3, we're going to want to rename the box to something memorable and enable SSH. This will allow us to remotely log in to the computer from our main computer.
On the Raspberry Pi, open up your terminal and type sudo raspi-config. Once that's open, select Network Options and then select Hostname and hit Enter. Enter the new name and then hit Enter to confirm. Navigate to SSH and choose Yes, then OK, then Finished. And if asked, reboot the Pi.
Step 4 is going to be on your main computer. Since I'm running Windows, I'll want to install the Windows Terminal program. If you're on a Mac, you can just use the Mac Terminal. We're going to use this program to easily control our Pi via a remote connection once it's all set up.
Okay, here we are on the main computer. Go ahead and click on Start and type Microsoft Store. Open up the Microsoft Store, and once it opens, search for Windows Terminal. It's a free app, so go ahead and click on the Get button to download it. I already actually have it downloaded here, so mine says Launch, but that's where the Get button will be. Go ahead and click that, download it, and install.
Okay, now back on the Pi, we're going to set up a custom RTMP or real-time messenger protocol server with the software NGINX. It's okay if you don't know what this means. Just follow along. All the code and things to type are in the description of the video.
Back on the Pi, I've got the terminal open, and I've got a text file with all of our commands in it so I can easily copy-paste. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is make a directory for our saved recordings. Just go ahead and paste that in there. That's going to create a directory. Next, we're going to need to install some prerequisite programs for NGINX. So just go ahead and copy and paste that command, hit enter, and let the Pi do its thing. When it says, do you want to continue for any of these, just go ahead and hit yes. Okay, next we're actually going to install NGINX. So copy that, paste it in, hit enter, and let it go. After NGINX is installed, we're going to want to install the RTMP add-on. So copy paste, hit enter, you know the drill. Alright, now we want to make sure that NGINX is actually up and running. So copy and paste this, and check to make sure that you see it's saying active parentheses running. That means that everything is working. Go ahead and Control X to get out of that. The next thing we need to install is Stunnel. Stunnel is a helper program that'll allow us to send our RTMP signal over SSL. Facebook requires this for a live stream to show up. So just go ahead and copy paste and wait for it to finish. We need to create a configuration file for Stunnel, so copy and paste this command to create that file, and then copy and paste these configuration items into that file. Hit Control X to exit, hit Y to save your changes, and then just hit enter to save the file. Next, we're going to create the actual configuration file for Facebook inside of Stunnel. So copy and paste this. That'll create the directory that it needs. And then we're going to copy and paste this to make the actual file. Inside of the file, it's blank here, so just copy this configuration, paste it in there, and again, Control X, hit Y to save, hit enter. Okay, we have to allow Stunnel through our firewall because it's SSL, so copy and paste this, hit enter, and boom, it is allowed. Okay, now the big one. Let's create the RTMP configuration file for NGINX. Copy and paste that. It's going to make a blank file for you. Copy and paste this big configuration in there. Now you'll notice in the file we have areas that say put your stream keys here in brackets. You'll need to grab your stream keys from Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, put them in there, and bear in mind that the brackets are not part of the configuration, so make sure to take those out. Same thing here, Control X, Y, hit enter. Now what we need to do is we need to tell NGINX, hey, we've got an RTMP file to load. So we're going to load that into the NGINX config file. Copy and paste that there. And then under this bottom line at the very top, we're going to add in the line include etc nginx rtmp.conf. So just move over to this file, add that in, and then same thing, Control X, Y, enter, and you've got it. Last thing here, we're going to reboot the Pi. So sudo reboot.
Now that the Pi is set up and you're able to remote into it, you no longer need to keep it hooked up to a keyboard or monitor. I've mounted mine on the wall in my basement right next to my router. Just make sure you've got power and internet going to the Pi and head on back to your main computer.
Okay, here we are on my main Windows desktop. I'm going to open up Windows Terminal, which is what we downloaded earlier. Now to connect to the Pi, I'm going to type SSH space Pi at the name of the Pi. So go ahead and type in your password that you set, and then boom, you are connected to the Pi. Before we start to stream, I want to make sure that NGINX is running. So I'm going to copy and paste this command in here just to make sure. Now in my case, mine is inactive because I inactivated it because I'm not currently streaming. So let's check Stunnel to give you an example of what it would look like if it is active. And you can see here, active and running. Now that you're set up, the last step is to send your signal to the actual box. So in Streamlabs OBS here, I'm going to go to Settings, I'm going to go to Stream. Now yours might say something like streaming to YouTube or streaming to Twitch. You're going to want to change that over to a custom streaming server. And you'll need to type in RTMP : the name of your box, 1935 / live. And the stream key can be literally whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. One more optional thing, we've set up our Raspberry Pi to automatically record our streams as well as stream them. So you may want access to those files in Windows. In my case, I've got a link here to my Raspberry Pi. I've put a walkthrough in the description of the video on how to do this using a Samba server. It's a little bit more advanced, so I'm not going to go through it here, but just know that that is an option if you want to do that.
Once you hit Go Live, simply navigate over to your live stream control panel in YouTube and Facebook and make sure that your video is actually coming through. Once you're ready to go live, simply publish or post the video. Also, a quick note that Twitch does not have a publish feature. Basically, as soon as you hit Go Live, you're live. So I'd recommend having a waiting screen playing until you're actually ready to start.
There may be situations where you only want to stream to a certain set of services. So to do this, open up the rtmp.conf file and navigate down to the push commands. Go ahead and put a # in front of whatever push command relates to the service that you don't want to stream to. This will comment it out. So for example, if you only want to stream to YouTube and Twitch, take the # away from YouTube and Twitch. Then save the file and reboot the Pi.
If your channels are not monetized yet, I'd recommend that you set up a donation option using Streamlabs. The account and the streaming software are free, and as long as you link your PayPal during your Streamlabs account setup, you should have a website created for you where you can accept tips. It's usually streamlabs.com/your username. If you have a band website and you want to get a little fancy, you can redirect a page to this donation site. In our case, lordsofthetrident.com/tips automatically redirects to our Streamlabs tip site. Once you've done that, just make sure to let people know where to go during your stream. One more piece of info for our Facebook users. At the moment, Facebook Live is being broadcasted over SSL, which means we have to use a secured channel to go live. That's why we needed to install Stunnel in order to make the connection work. However, Stunnel will only continue operating for a maximum of 4 hours before Facebook automatically closes the connection. So, if you're going live on Facebook, make sure you reboot your Raspberry Pi before you go live so that you have the maximum window of time to stay connected on Facebook.
The final thing to note is bandwidth. Since you're multi-streaming, you'll want to make sure you have enough bandwidth to send the stream times however many connections you have. A lot of videos have already been made about tweaking your bandwidth settings, but here are a few settings in Streamlabs that I'd recommend you engage. First, under Output, make sure you rescale your video to 720p and turn on variable bitrate. I set my bitrate for about 2000 to 6000 for 3 streams at the same time. Also, under Advanced, make sure that you turn on the option under Network to dynamically change bitrate when dropping frames. This has actually helped save a few of our streams in the recent past when networks have been a little congested.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Rob from PsychoStick for pointing me in the right direction to figure out all this info about the Raspberry Pi server. Big shocker, I know, both of our bands are full of nerds. All right, now you're ready to stream to your heart's content. And if you're buried in bits or suffocated in super chats and you want to help us out, please consider joining our Patreon right now at patreon.com/lordsofthetrident. Not only does it directly support the band and this channel, you'll also get free music and merch, exclusive videos, and more. Thanks for watching. We'll see you streaming on the internet.